Hello everyone, welcome to the Corner Library on Sunday the 11th of May. It is for me. I'm filming this a day early and uploading it for you tomorrow, which will be the 12th, Monday the 12th of May. I can't believe it, the year is flying. I was just talking to Mark and my in-laws on the phone for Mother's Day, and we were saying how the time really flies. So here we are, nearly halfway through the year already. It's unbelievable, isn't it? Okay, I have my cup of coffee and I have some homemade biscuits here, but I want to talk to you about those in a minute because they actually refer to a book that I want to show you. First thing, I have to tell you a sneaky story. I thought it was really funny. And I know that being readers and particularly Jane Austen fans, you will understand. During the week, I filmed some towns for the other channel, Australian Book Travels, that we have. For those of you who don't know and have just joined us, we do have another channel, Australian Book Travels, which has been live now for around about 18 months, I think. And we travel around, and it's actually where this channel began with the book recommendations, but we have now split the channel so that one is a travel video and the other one is, this one is a book recommendation video. Or book recommendation channel. So during the week, I was filming for the other channel and I went to a few towns, and whilst I was in these towns, I decided to take extra footage to give a relaxation video. So I was filming some very serene country places, some rivers dried up and also flowing, so that I could compile it have it as a relaxation video on the other channel. To make it completely relaxing, I decided not to do a voiceover. And at the beginning of the video, if you have a look at it on Australian Book Travels, at the beginning of the video, I just wrote in the subtitles, "Welcome to Australian Book Travels," and we are in this is a relaxation video, and it's been filmed in 3 locations, and I named the locations. Now, one of those locations was CHEWTON here in Central Victoria, which is CHEWTON. So that's fine. I had it all up. This morning, that was uploaded for yesterday, which was Saturday. This morning, I thought I'd best check the channel just in case anything had gone wrong or people were asking questions. And a very kind viewer wrote a comment and said, "I think you've spelt CHEWTON incorrectly." And he had it in capital letters, CHEWTON. And I thought to myself, well, that's strange. Why would I have done that? So, obviously I haven't proofread it and all of that. So I went back on the channel and had a look at that video. And sure enough, I had spelt it incorrectly as CHAWTON. Now, any of you who are Jane Austen fans will know that CHAWTON is the last place that Anne lived, apart from Winchester, where she died. But she went to Winchester only to seek medical help, and then she subsequently died. But she actually lived in CHAWTON for the last 6 years of her life, and it was where she wrote a number of her novels. And it is because it is the 250th anniversary. As you will all get to see in a minute, I have been buying books about Jane Austen. I have read a number of biographies about her, but there are a couple of lovely books that I bought. And so I have been really concentrating on this house in CHEWTON, and there are tours on YouTube that you can have a look through the house, and there's a museum there. And so this last couple of weeks I've been really concentrating on this beautiful house in CHEWTON. It also has a number of things the house actually has a number of things that have interested me. There's a bricked up window, and of course over the years the township has changed. And I'm always interested in that. I love history, and I really sometimes I find it sad, or a lot of the times I find it sad when towns have changed. And so I've been concentrating on that, and of course automatically it must have just been that I typed in CHAWTON instead of CHEWTON. So I had a bit of a giggle this morning, everyone, even though it is frustrating because I have quite a bit of work to do now to change that and to upload it again. If I take down the video that I already have, it means I lose views and it messes up my side of things, the administrative side of things for me. So I'm just tossing up at the moment whether I just add the video into the comments section. But anyway, that's my problem. I'll deal with that. But I did want to let you know, I thought that was quite funny, considering that it is Jane Austen's year. Okay, we have a few things that I want to discuss with you. We do have a few books to get through, so let's have a look. These first two actually were given to me, one by HQ Fiction. This is Mandy Magro, Weathering the Storm. I have been given this to read and recommend or to review as I see fit. It is not, I'll be honest, this is not a novel I would ordinarily read. I'm going to be really honest. I'm here not to sugarcoat things, but you know, I want to present the positive of everything, but I will also tell you how I feel. I'm not a big fan of this sort of book cover. I really don't like photographs of people on covers, unless perhaps it's an historical photo, but this sort of thing, as you can probably see on the back, this author and the publishing house, HQ, seem to have this as the book title or the book covers for Mandy Magro, which to me, ordinarily, I wouldn't pick this up off the shelf. It would not interest me merely by the cover. But it does interest a lot of people. That's not to say it's wrong or it's bad. It's just something that I want to let you know about me, that I'm very much a book cover person. If you've been watching the channel for a little while, you will know that. And this sort of cover doesn't do anything for me. Now, the story, it's an Australian author, Australian story. The story itself, again, is not something, it's a contemporary love story, and it really isn't something that would grab me ordinarily. However, it is well written, and it gives you a slice of Australia. And I enjoyed it. It was just a very light read. It was a bit of fun. This is, as it says on the cover, it is her 25th novel, which is astounding, really, and just shows that she is successful. But yeah, look, I recommend it. It's a light read. It's a love story, and a bit of fun. So don't be put off by the cover. If you are like me and you are very much a cover person, a book cover person, don't be put off by the cover. It is quite a bit of a fun read. So I recommend it. I think that's out now, but if it's not, I will let you know. I didn't get the details as to when it has been or will be released, but I think it's out now. But I'll let you know in the subtitles. So that's Mandy Magro, Weathering the Storm. Now, another one that I was given by HQ Fiction, even though that this is, I just want to let you know, this is again by HarperCollins through HQ Fiction. Last year I recommended the author Grant Lee Keyes's Mr. and Mrs. Gould. This is historical novel about John Gould and his wife. Of course, the Goldfinches are named after John Gould, and you can see the finch there. So that's a hardcover, and it gives you, this was last year I recommended this. It's absolutely brilliant. If you want to know a bit about Australia, particularly if you're a bird fanatic or a nature fanatic, it gives you photos of the drawings that they did and the illustrations that they made. And I think we have I think we may have some photos of Mr. and Mrs. Gould themselves just through here. I can't recall. Oh, they may be just sort of black and white illustrations. So I recommended that last year. I thought it was a really good read, very, very interesting. And Grantley is an extremely good author. He is a brilliant researcher. He is a journalist, and a good journalist. Now, HQ Fiction have sent me this. It's ABC Books. This is Annette Kellerman, the Australian mermaid. Now, in the turn of the 20th century, so the early 1900s, Annette Kellerman, Australian, although she spent a lot of time overseas, but she was an amazing swimmer. She was a bit of a bit of an actress on stage as well. Not well known, but should be, because she is an extremely interesting character. So Grantley has written this book, and it is out now. You can purchase it now. It's in paperback, but absolutely brilliant. And through it, I really enjoyed this. I enjoy his writing. I really enjoy Grantley's writing, but it shows you, it gives you photos of Annette Kellerman right throughout. It shows you where she, I think she was a bit of a vaudeville sort of actress, dancer as well, but it gives you her clothing that she performed in, and she's a brilliant swimmer, an underwater swimmer, but this shows you, gives you a photo of her as she aged. I recommend this. It really is good, and Grantley is very, very good with his his research on these historical figures. So this one was last year, was published last year, and this one is this year, and it is out now. They are brilliant, and I do recommend them. So that's those ones. Now, we'll get into a little bit of what's been going on here. This week, I know a lot of you who are Jane Austen fans will have already read this. I had not until this last week. This is the Jane Austen Society by Natalie Jenner. I think this was out last year. I think it's a 2020. It's been out for quite some time. It's a 2020. Natalie has a new one out. It's called Austen at Sea. I think that's out in July, I think. But again, if I'm wrong, I will let you know in the subtitles. This is a brilliant read. I absolutely loved it. Now, it's particularly the first part of it, it really reminded me of a modern day Jane Austen as an author, Jane Austen writing. It was wonderful. But there is one thing I do want to warn you about if you haven't read this, or if you have read it and you felt the same way as me. I'm happy to discuss it in the comments below. There was an incident. I will let you know the incident before I go on about the novel. The incident is a sexual assault scene. Well, actually, I think it is rape, but let's just say it's a sexual assault. And it's not the incident itself. The incident written in here is understandable and it's plausible. It was the description of it that I thought was out of sync with the style of the novel. Unnecessary as well. I thought it was unnecessary. Not the incident, but the description of it was unnecessary. It was quite icky, and I thought it did not fit with the novel itself. But the novel, it's fiction. It is about, and again, this is where CHEWTON and CHAWTON come in, because it is about the town of CHEWTON. It is about Jane Austen after she has died. This obviously between 1938, I think, and the late 1940s, after the war, so before the Second World War and after. It is about CHAWTON and the township and a few people in that, around about 8 people. There is a doctor, a solicitor, there is the great niece, I think, or the great niece of Jane Austen, mentioned in this, who features in this. There is the CHAWTON house, of course, and the big house that her brother Edward, Jane Austen's brother Edward Austen Knight owned. It is about these people getting together and setting up a society in appreciation of Jane Austen. There's a farmer, there's a movie star, an antique auctioneer. I absolutely love this. I really, really enjoyed it. The only thing is, as I say, that couple of lines that I thought were unnecessary describing the sexual assault. Not the sexual assault itself, but describing it. I just thought it was a little unnecessary and a little bit icky. If you have read it, let me know what you think. I'd be interested to know. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. I love the cover. Now this I bought from Abbey's bookshop a couple of weeks ago, and I think it arrived about a week and a half ago, and I read it immediately. I absolutely loved it. If you haven't read it, do read it. It is, let me get the details for you. It is only a few hundred pages, I think. Yeah, it's 300 pages or thereabouts. There is an historical note by the author, and it is by Orion Publishers. Now, and as I say, this was published in 2020. I recommend that. It was absolutely brilliant, apart from that one little hiccup. Now, the other thing, I'm partway through The Homemade God by Rachel Joyce. As you all know, I told you that I came across Rachel Joyce through Miss Benson's Beetle. I love this. I bought it from Tea Leaves and Reads last year, I think it was. I thoroughly enjoyed this. It is one that will stay on my shelf, and I will probably reread in another year or two. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was witty. It made me laugh. It was about friendship and compassion and understanding and misunderstanding and tolerance. It was just really funny. This one is different. It is by Rachel Joyce, of course, and it was My Beautiful Sprayed Edges from Tea Leaves and Reads. It's different. If it's not as, at the moment, I am, a third of a way through it. It's not as witty. I don't think it's as witty as Miss Benson's Beetle. It certainly hasn't made me laugh as much. I haven't laughed actually at all. Although it is intriguing. It's a different story, and this is what we have to appreciate. Even with one of my favourite French authors, he's the same. He writes all different novels. It's not in the same genre at all. They're all different, which makes it exciting when you're reading these authors. And that's what I found with this. Although initially I was a bit disappointed because I thought I was looking forward to a really good witty laugh, and the same quirkiness that is in Miss Benson's Beetle. This, though, has a different appreciation and a different wit. It's not a laugh, for me at the moment, it's not a laugh out loud wit. It's more about deeper feelings, and there are some funny moments, but they're not, for me, they won't laugh out loud. But there's a different story in this, and it's actually a mystery. Thus far, we are now coming into, so far it's been about setting up the scene. I haven't warmed to these characters at all. I'm just reading about them. Whereas in Miss Benson's Beetle, I warmed to the characters immediately. So it's taking me, I'm still not quite warmed up to them yet. I'm understanding them a little bit more, but I'm not really warmed up to them. I'm enjoying it though. Don't do not fear, everyone. I'm enjoying it and I do recommend it so far. But when I finish, I will let you know. I just wanted to let you know that it is very different from Miss Benson's Beetle, which shows the talent that Rachel Joyce has going from one story to a completely different story with different ethics and morals and beliefs and feelings. So far, I am enjoying it for what it is. I think it's really interesting and I can't wait to finish it. So that's that one. I just want to let you know about that. Now, last year, I think it must have been last year, I told you about Andre Aciman, or I'm sure that's how you pronounce it, but if I have it wrong, I do apologise. This was The Gentleman from Peru, hardcover. I bought this one, I think, from Abbey's bookshop. From the Stoneman'S bookshop in Castlemaine. Actually, that is something I wanted to tell you. I'll get onto that. Remind me, I have something to tell you. The Gentleman from Peru, I absolutely love this. It had a lot of meaning. It was a very simple story. It's really a novella. It's not even 200 pages. In fact, I don't even think it's 160 pages. No, it's about 163 pages. There was a deep emotion to this. There was a deep story, a really deep emotional story to this, and I loved it. I really enjoyed it. Now, what I do want to say before I go on, which leads me into this next one, is I went to film for the other channel, Australian Book Travels, and whilst I was on my way to these particular towns, I went into Stoneman'S bookshop and I went into a newly opened shop in Castlemaine called the Tea Dispensary, and I bought a number of teas, herbal and actually they're all herbal. Two of them are a blend and two of them are pure herbs. But I will discuss that in a minute because it does actually have a connection to our biscuits. What I wanted to tell you is that I have filmed the bookshop and the tea dispensary for you at the end of this video. They will feature. I also saw a couple of really lovely street free libraries. So hang on till the end of this video, everyone, because I took some video deliberately for all of you to enjoy. So that's something that I forgot to say right at the beginning. Anyway, this, when I was in Stoneman'S bookroom, this is Andre Aciman's Room on the Sea. I haven't read it yet, but I'm really looking forward to it. And what I love about it is that it is in a similar, although different colours, they are similar book covers, which I thought was lovely. This one is... that's the back, and then there's this one with a beautiful back as well. So I really love that because I think obviously they are, the publishing company or the publishing house are working on having these as a set on your bookshelf, which I think is lovely. I can't wait to read this one. I'll give you a little blurb on it. It says on the French flap here, in the scorching New York heat, 100 people wait to be selected as jurors. Paul is reading a newspaper, Catherine is reading a novel. So begins a whirlwind flirtation over cappuccinos and gallery trips in Manhattan. Paul and Catherine escape into the illusion of an Italian getaway. Their feelings swiftly develop into something deeper, something as mature adults with lives of their own. Paul and Catherine must carry on in secret with the understanding that anything more than a casual crush is out of the question. But as the sultry summer week draws to a close, the end of their rendezvous comes into focus and Paul and Catherine are forced to decide whether to act on their feelings or leave the fantasy of what could have been to the annals of the past. I'm really looking forward to that, and as I say, I bought that from Stoneman'S bookroom in Castlemaine, and it goes nicely on the bookshelf with the previously read novel. I really like his writing. I am looking forward to this because if it's anything as deep and meaningful as, and yet simple, this one's a very simple story, but it had a mystery to it and a beautiful emotional connection. It was lovely. So I can't wait to read this one. Another couple that I bought actually at Stoneman's was Father by Elizabeth von Arnim. Now, Elizabeth von Arnim wrote the most exquisite novel, The Enchanted April, which is a classic. This one is too. I haven't read this. She was also Australian. So, although she spent most of her time, a lot of her time actually overseas, and she did die overseas, but she is originally Australian. Now, this is the British Library Women's Writers Edition. It is raised. All those tulips on the cover are raised, so it's a very tactile book. Absolutely beautiful. I can't wait to read this. Many of you probably already have. I haven't, but I'm really wanting to read it. I read her other, which was Elizabeth. It was her first novel, actually, Elizabeth and the German Garden. I wasn't as impressed with that as I am with The Enchanted April, which was also made into a movie, by the way. But I am interested to read this one by Elizabeth. So I bought that from Stoneman's BOOKROOM. Now, the other two that was Jane Austen, hence the CHEWTON mistake. I bought this. This is Jane Austen and Her World by Josephine Ross. This gives us excerpts from her letters, stories about her appearance and how people saw her physically, eyewitnesses, friends and family, what she ate, what she didn't eat, how her novels came out, lots and lots of pictures, paintings, photos, drawings. I have been sneaking a little look every now and then because it is one of those books that you can just pick up and put down. It's not a continuous novel or anything. It is factual. So we have the silhouette there, the cutout silhouette, but yes, there's a royal encounter, an ambitious move. It's about her publishing. So I'm looking forward to reading that a lot more. The other one I bought is Jane Austen's book note. Jane Austen's book note, The Lifetimes and Writings of Jane Austen. Another hardcover. I bought this from Stoneman's BOOKROOM. Again, we have a little bit about her sister Cassandra, of course, because they were very, very close. They lived together until Jane's death in 1817. And there's travelling and there's trips to London and trips to Bath and her novels, the publishing of her novels and the landscapes in which she lived, the homes in which she lived, events in the family, proposals that she had, marriage proposals and so forth. So I'm looking forward to that. That complements that in terms of information. So I'm really looking forward to delving into those a little bit more. Now, the ones that I bought from Abbey's bookshop they arrived about a week and a half ago, I think. I bought from Abbey's bookshop in Sydney, Jane Austen's Garden, a botanical tour of the classic novels. Now, I bought this because Mark and I are both avid gardeners. Mark is a landscape architect. That's one of his roles. And I have always been an avid gardener, even when I lived at home with my parents. So I just simply had to buy this. Now, this is about gardens that featured in Jane's life and also gardens that featured in her novels. So it gives you not just about the gardens, but about fruit and plants that were notable in Jane's time and that were, some of them are now considered heirloom vegetables or heirloom fruit. But it gives you, it talks about ha-has, which any of you who know England know that the ha-ha features greatly in these, particularly with Capability Brown with his landscapes. They feature a lot on large estates and a number of the mansions and things on broad acres. They feature a lot. So it tells you about the ha-has and I haven't looked through this completely, but I have just briefly looked at the trees and what featured in Jane's kitchen gardens, because of course most of the homes in the 17 and 18, even the 1900s, the kitchen garden was an essential. You didn't just go down to a supermarket to buy food. In fact, that wasn't even a thing. You really grew a lot of your own food, including having your own eggs, and a lot of places had their own beehives. I know my own grandmother in England had her own beehives and her own vegetable garden and fruit orchard. So I'm looking forward to getting into that. That's a hardcover. It's Andrews McMeel Publishing, that one, and these others are Exiles Publishing, and this one is the National Portrait Gallery. So I just thought I'd let you know that. And then one that we have that was published this, oh, actually, this one of Jane Austen's, I think this was published last year. Let me just have a look for you all, everyone. Let me have a look. You're not going to tell me, are you? You're not going to make this easy for me. 2025, actually, was this year, which is odd because they must have advertised it last year. So that's 2025. Now this one is 2025. This is a Jane Austen year, celebrating 250 years of Jane Austen. This is a hardcover and has been published by Jane Austen House, I think. Yes, Jane Austen House by Pitkin. Now this is photos of, this is CHAWTON House, so this is what I have been obsessed with just recently. This is the last house that Jane lived in, apart from when she and Cassandra moved to Winchester very temporarily for her medical doctor. But she actually lived here with Cassandra and her mother for around about 6 years, I think, in the last 6 years of her life. So it just takes you through the year, month by month, just certain things, you know, the beautiful vegetation, some of the buildings that are around in CHAWTON, and through this particularly around the CHAWTON. It's just in 1 year of Jane's life. Some of her writing and the months, as you can see, and just some of, because Cassandra was actually a painter and a illustrator or drawer. So we have some of her paintings and some of the churches around CHAWTON and so forth. So it's absolutely beautiful. I have flicked through this very briefly and I absolutely love it, and I can't wait to sit down with a nice cup of tea or coffee and enjoy a Jane Austen year. I really recommend this. Having looked through it briefly, it's enchanting, it's informative, and yeah, I can't wait to read through it a bit more. So that's those. So see where I was at with my mind, everyone? I was just in CHAWTON rather than CHEWTON. So we have also the tea dispensary, which you will see at the end of this video. Now, what I did buy was a large bag of rose petals. I usually dry my own rose petals for decoration, for cakes, to put in cakes, and for tea. But I decided to buy the rose petals from the tea dispensary. And yesterday, when I came home, I decided to make biscuits with rose petals and rose water, and I have to say they are really scrummy. There they are there. And in the icing, instead of mixing it with just water, I mixed it with rose water, and they really are lovely with your cup of coffee. So I do recommend those. Now, last year, I actually bought this book for myself a couple of years ago. I think it was last year at a girlfriend's birthday, I bought her a copy because I love this so much. My girlfriend is a baker and she enjoys baking and cooking. So I decided to buy this for her birthday. I hope she's enjoying it as much as I do. I absolutely love it. But this is the Magnolia Table by Joanna Gaines. The recipe for these biscuits are in here. Now in here the recipe is for lemon rather than the rose water and the rose petals. But, oh, here we go. I just want to show you. But these ones, they're lemon, but they're so easy to make that, I mean, they're just whizzed up within minutes, and they take about 20 minutes actually in the oven on a very low temperature. But they are, when you make them very small, which they ask you to do in this cookbook, they really are a lovely bite-sized snack with a cup of coffee. They do, whether you choose the lemon or rose water and rose petals, they're more suited to a coffee, a strong coffee. They tend to take away a little sharp bitterness in the coffee. They complement the coffee really well, whether you choose lemon or whether you choose the rose water. We have tried both, and we really do enjoy them with a cup of coffee. But this is the Magnolia Table. Perhaps in the future we'll do some more cooking together through this from this cookbook. It's absolutely beautiful. I do recommend it. That some great recipes, very simple but very effective and very tasty. So that is what I recommend, and I wanted to show you that yesterday I made them from the rose petals that I bought from the tea dispensary. I also bought blue corn flour. These are really good to put in, not only to have as a tea, but to put in your baking as well. So I bought the same size in the rose petals, but I've put them in the rose petals, I've put in the glass jar. When I opened the bag, I decided to put them in my glass Fowler's jars, which are the preserving jars, and they'll keep fresh in that and protected. I also bought an organic sleepy tea for us in the evening. We do like either a lovely hot chocolate. We either have a hot chocolate from a Gewürzhaus in Melbourne. I buy a lot of my herbs and my hot chocolate from there. More recently in Castlemaine, actually, at the Harcourt shop, grocers that they have a beautiful French mint chocolate that I bought, and Mark and I have enjoyed that as well as an evening drink. So, but occasionally we have the herbal tea just to send us off to sleep and calm us before we go to bed at night. I also bought a mixed, from the tea dispensary, by the tea dispensary, the organic anti-inflammatory. We're getting older now, and throughout my life, I have actually done some real physical work out in the garden. Anybody who gardens will know how physical that can get. Not only gardening, but of course we've renovated gardens, and in this case we built this home ourselves. So it has been hard work and very hard on the joints. So I bought the anti-inflammatory as well. That will feature at the end of this video, everyone, so that you can see how beautiful the shop is. So I think I've prattled on enough. I just want to go over those again. The Magnolia Table, which will feature in future videos when once again we get together and we cook in the kitchen, bake in the kitchen. We can bake from this, along with a number of other cookbooks that I enjoy. What can I say? The Jane Austen year, celebrating 250 years of Jane Austen. Absolutely beautiful, and I do recommend it. It is lovely. Jane Austen's Garden, if you are a Jane Austen fan, if you are interested in vegetation at all in any way, shape or form, if you are interested in history, not just Jane Austen, or if you are interested in the garden, I think you really need this in your book, on your bookshelf. I know this is English, and I know that it has a lot of English plants and trees in it, but we do have a lot of these here in various areas around Australia. Even including here, we grow English oak here and English elms. Mark and I have put those in the garden. So we do have European and English trees and vegetation and vegetable gardens and things. So it is just as relevant here as it is in England. And I do recommend it because having gone through it, it looks really relevant and interesting if you're going to also relate it to Jane Austen or to history. Jane Austen's notebook is absolutely beautiful. The cover on this is just stunning, and all of these are hardcovers. They're all stunning, actually. I do really enjoy a good cover on a book. But this will give you, it even gives you here patterns and capes and caps that they wore. Patterns and capes, not patterns, but patterns and capes. Absolutely beautiful if you want to know anything historical or if you want to know about Jane Austen. Again, we have Jane Austen and Her World by Josephine Ross. Father by Elizabeth von Arnim, an Australian. I haven't read this, it is a classic, but I have read her Enchanted April, and if you haven't read her The Enchanted April, please do. It's absolutely beautiful. It has been turned into a TV series or a movie, I think, and it's beautiful. Both of them absolutely gorgeous. Andre Aciman. I loved The Gentleman from Peru. I do recommend that if you haven't read it before, and I am very, very excited to be reading Room on the Sea. An absolutely beautiful storyteller. And of course, I said last week about Miss Benson's Beetle. It is one of my favourites. I recommend it. It's funny, it's laugh out loud. It's also very heart-wrenching, and there are some tales to tell in this. It's absolutely beautiful. This also by Rachel Joyce, but different. I am enjoying it. I'm not warming to the characters as much as I warmed here, and I'm not laughing as loud. I'm not laughing, but there's a reason for that. It's a different story, and I'm finding this extremely interesting and intriguing. Word of warning, there are a few swear words in this also, but we can deal with that, I think. It's Rachel Joyce after all. So the Jane Austen Society, absolutely love this. Word of warning, there is not just the scene. The scene is fine. The incident is, it's relevant, and I can understand it, but it was the description of the incident that I just found a little probably unnecessary and a little bit icky. But it is only a few sentences. Don't let it take away from the actual story. It's absolutely beautiful. There are multiple love stories in this. I recommend it. And it's Jane Austen. For heaven's sake, it's her year. We have to get into it. Grantley Keyser on Annette Kellerman, The Australian Mermaid. Absolutely brilliant, as he is in the historical story of Mr. and Mrs. Gould. I recommend these. He's a brilliant writer. Historical, great research, factual, absolutely brilliant. And then we have Mandy Magro from HQ Fiction, Weathering the Storm, love story, but again, as I say, it's not the sort of, don't be put off by the cover. It's not the sort of book that I would ordinarily pick up. HQ Fiction have sent it to me and I read it. And look, I have to say, it's Australian story, Australian author. She is successful. This is her 25th novel. She's had many, many copies sold of all her novels. And I enjoyed it. It was just a light, fun read. And yeah, it's just a nice romance. But definitely don't be put off by the front cover. Okay. There will be more at the end of this to show you a couple of the beautiful street free libraries that I saw on my travels this week. And I wanted to show you a little bit of the STONEMAN'S BOOKROOM in Castlemaine and the tea dispensary. Enjoy, everyone. I'm about to have my cup of coffee and one of my biscuits with my rose water and rose petals from the tea dispensary. I will put all of the details of the tea dispensary and STONEMAN'S BOOKROOM down in the description box below. And anything that I have wrong, I will put in the subtitles across. As you all know, I film these in one take. Mistakes and all, I don't edit these. I film it and it is what it is. So any mistakes I make in the editing process, I will clarify or correct in the subtitles. Okay, everyone, I hope you are enjoying your Sunday/Monday. I hope you enjoy your week, and I will see you next, well, if I don't see you on the Australian Book Travels next Saturday, I will definitely see you next Monday. And there are more books coming. It is my birthday month, so I have gone a little bit rogue and bought quite a few books. Abbey's Bookshop, when I ordered from Abbey's Bookshop, there were a few that were not in stock. That is something about Abbey's Bookshop too that I wanted to tell you. You pay a flat rate for Abbey's Bookshop. It's $9.90 for any amount of books across Australia, standard post. But if they don't have the book in stock, they'll post it to you free of charge. There's no extra post on that. So a few of the books were not in stock. I'm expecting them possibly by the end of this month. I'm really looking forward to that because it is my birthday month. And I bought them for my birthday. So I'm hoping they arrive in time. There are also, I bought another box of books, I think I told you last week, from Tea Leaves and Reads in England. I bought them because they were all on special, and by the time they freighted them out here, they actually worked out to be a similar price to here in Australia. Some of them I don't think we can get here in Australia, some of the books that I've ordered, and they are hardcovers as well, so that makes it more exciting for me. So I will show you those when they arrive, hopefully next week. If not, it will be the week after. Okay, everyone, I will let you go. Don't forget, we still have a little bit of footage for you, for your interest at the end of this, but I will say goodbye for now. Okay, take care, everyone. Happy reading. Take care wherever you are. Enjoy the week, and I will see you next week. Bye for now.